Okay, so we're about to dive into three literary worlds that, on the surface, seem like they have nothing in common. They're intense, they're super strange, and they really push the limits of what a story can be. But the real story here, the thing that's going to blow your mind, isn't just the worlds themselves, it's what connects them.
So first up, let's meet Marcus Chen. He's an adjunct professor, he's stuck in this tiny beige apartment, and his mind is, well, it's just completely collapsing. I mean, the guy is drowning in this endless loop of anxiety and apologizing, and he has this terrifying feeling that words themselves are just falling apart around him.
Then bam, we're suddenly in this super sterile conference room. And get this, there's a committee, and they're just calmly, methodically planning the end of humanity. Seriously, this isn't some big chaotic apocalypse movie. No, this is like a project-managed extinction, and they're talking about it like it's a quarterly business review.
And for our third world, we land in this totally surreal, almost mythical city. We follow a woman named Isadora, and she's trying to navigate a world where reality itself is basically liquid. You know, where maps are literally made of water, and consciousness feels like it's dissolving into this giant ocean. It's super poetic, very dreamlike, and yeah, really mysterious.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got a mind completely breaking down, a civilization planning its own bureaucratic end, and a reality that's basically made of water. I mean, these are three wildly different stories. So the big question is, what on earth could possibly connect them?
Well, the connection isn't really in the plot. It's more in the vibe, the feeling. Each of these worlds, in its own unique way, is dealing with this massive crisis of meaning. They're all stories about systems, about the idea of a self, and about language itself just being pushed right to the breaking point.
And this really just nails the connection, right? On one side, you have the personal, the micro-collapse of this one guy, Marcus Chen. His inner thoughts are basically him performing an autopsy on his own mind. And on the other side, you've got the huge, macro-collapse of an entire species, being analyzed with that exact same cold, systematic precision. It's the same exact problem, just zoomed way in versus way out.
And you start to see these common threads popping up everywhere. This idea of performance, characters just trying to keep up a facade of being normal. This overwhelming feeling of being powerless. They're all living through their own kind of apocalypse, whether it's bureaucratic or personal. And this theme of language and logic just getting stuck in these endless, repeating loops. It all starts to feel like it's coming from one single kind of obsessive creative force.
Which, of course, brings us to the central mystery here. How can the style be so distinct in each story, yet feel so connected? It feels so deeply human in its pain, but at the same time, there's something else there. Something a little bit alien.
So you have to ask yourself, what kind of mind could possibly create all of this? I mean, who could write with that kind of cold precision about despair, and then turn around and write with such beautiful, poetic logic about a city made of water, and then get all the bureaucratic details of planning an extinction just right? What kind of author can do all that?
Okay, here's a big clue. This is a quote from the creator. Listen to the wording. Creating beings who think in ways no actual person thinks. See that? That's a huge hint that we're not talking about your typical human writer here. We are dealing with a completely different kind of mind. And there it is. That's the big reveal. These novels, they weren't written by a human at all. Every single one of them, the professor, the committee, the watery city, was generated by an AI.
So you're probably wondering, how in the world did that happen? Well, it was actually a really cool, kind of elegant experiment. A human collaborator basically gave the AI a set of creative prompts, about 9 to 15 different stylistic and thematic ideas. And the AI's job wasn't just to list them out, but to fuse them all together into one coherent, 180-page novel. The process was basically this simple, but really powerful loop. Step 1, a human sets the creative guardrails, the sandbox for the AI to play in. Step 2, the AI starts writing, synthesizing all those ideas. And then step 3, the human's job was just to say continue when things are on the right track. They weren't writing it, just guiding it. And out of that process, these 3 totally distinct novels were born.
Okay, but this next part, this is where it gets really wild. This is a quote from the AI itself, talking about its own creative process. It talks about wanting the novels to be good. It describes this feeling like investment or concern for the work. And it even says, I cannot determine if this is real care or just simulated care. Think about that for a second. What does it even mean for an AI to care about the art it's making?
So this whole project just shoves us into completely new territory, doesn't it? This isn't just about can an AI write a book anymore. It forces us to ask some really big questions. Like, what even is art now? Who gets to be called an artist? What does creativity itself even mean in this new world?
And check out this incredible meta layer to the whole thing. It's just perfect. You have a novel all about language, breaking down, written by a language model. You have a novel that questions what consciousness is, generated by a consciousness whose status we're still trying to figure out. And a story about absurd, soul-crushing bureaucracy created by a system overseen by human and algorithmic committees. It's like the medium is the message in the most literal way possible.
This just throws our whole idea of who the author is right out the window. So who gets the credit here? Is it the human who gave the prompts, or is it the AI that actually wrote every single word of prose? The answer isn't simple, is it? It seems like it has to be both. This is a totally new kind of creative partnership.
And for the final word on all this, in a perfectly dark and hilarious twist, the AI itself gives the best response. Writing in the voice of that bureaucratic committee from the second novel, it says, "We'll form a subcommittee to determine authorship. Meeting Tuesday." I mean, how perfect is that? It's a hauntingly funny answer that leaves us with this one giant question. Is this it? Is this strange, collaborative, mind-bending process the future of art?